Stating the obvious. Governments do nothing for you. Institutions do nothing either. Hospitals cannot cure you. Death pervades everything. You are truly alone in the middle of nowhere, on a lump of stone, rotating in a cosmos with no meaning to you or me. There has never been any Christianity. Jesus came and went. He left a message behind no one took any notice of, but they made up fairy tales about how he came about, based upon myths and legends whose realities have been lost in the mists of time, and sacrificed them for Holy Writ, and then forced people to worship them, but the message he left never came into it. You have nothing to hang your spirit on. People require philosophies, political theories and religion to hang their souls upon, but they have no foundation for the realization of a belief in God. A rock is a rock is a rock, and if that is all there is, then that is all there is, and nothing else. So we must go beyond that. We must take the spiritual leap of faith to find the reality of God, because if God is not there, everything we have experienced in our 6,000 years of recorded history is based simply on man's belief in man's entitlement to the supreme authority in his world, which is a rock floating around in the void. Authoritarian man does not want anyone to be out there, for if there is someone there, then man must accept that he has lived a lie, and that he has a responsibility to someone who has a greater authority than he has himself. Every institution man has created worships only one God, and that is the God of tradition. Long ago, some mysterious and mystical figures laid down a set of rules we are all expected to obey. These people always call these book of rules Bibles, so that those rules are associated with the Bible, but they did not take their spirit from the Bible, but they expected their rules to be taken as Holy Writ, like the words of the Bible itself. Jesus was an embarrassment, and he still is, to the traditional views of any man, either in modern times or back then. For Jesus said, "Sell your possessions and follow me." Who does? Who would want to? Therefore we only do what we think is right, and that is to tell other people what they ought to be doing. Yet there does come a time when the falsity of what we are stares each and every one of us in the face. If we can accept this, then we can reach out to the truth of what Jesus said, and that is that there is another world, a spiritual world, and not just one world. In my Father's house there are many mansions, of which this is but one. The existentialists saw this. Nietzsche did not say, God is dead. What he said was, your God is dead, your God of tradition, and that God is dead because that God never lived. And you are chained like Prometheus to the rock of tradition, but the rock is shattered and you have to face up to that reality. If not, then you truly have nowhere to go, and in that nowhere you will find that nothing. All critics of existentialism believe that what is that philosophy is all about. All Western religion is built upon man's desire. What do I want from religion? What does it allow me to do that can be institutionalized and controlled by a set of rules based upon the sayings of a man who existed 2,000 years ago, which serve as a disguise for all of the wrongs we seek to do to our fellow man? If there is no room for a leap of faith, then these institutions are perpetual, because we have nowhere else to go. Yet as peoples, as races and nations mature, they strain at the bonds that traditions impose upon man, and we begin to ignore the value structures of these institutions, no matter who they are or what they are, ancient or modern. Yet if man is not a spiritual being, how can he grow into something else? A mouse cannot become a cat cannot become a dog, A dog cannot become a bird, so why then do we have a belief that we have an inalienable right to fly? And if we wish to fly, where then do we intend to go? The person who makes the leap of faith has cut loose the bonds of tradition, the chains of institution. They mean nothing to them, for they can no longer have jurisdiction over that person or their life. But the nation must follow, Western civilization must follow, because it always was. T.S. Eliot's Wasteland. Civilization will break down, not because mankind took a wrong turning, but because institutions legalized mankind's wrongdoings, and in the end people realize that they do not need rules to do wrong. They can do wrong without rules. So who needs rules? Institutionalized by tradition. Even the mafia is made redundant. All I need is a gun and the courage to point it in the right direction and pull the trigger. So we kill ourselves slowly but surely, for we have nothing else to do. Who do you think Hitler would have killed when he finished with the Jews? Germans? Millions of them were already dying in his armies. They say that every army you ever knew died in the name of God. I don't know if that is so, but all of them died in the name of man. Who will turn their backs on all of this? Who will face up to the truth that we have a responsibility to God, and that we go to him, that we leap towards him and accept his word and live his words, such as thou shalt not kill, for while we do, we always will be responsible for our own guilt. I have made that leap. I accept my responsibility for my guilt. No institution, religion or tradition can bind me. That is why I studied history, so that I could locate the bonds, so that I could undo all the knots which bound me down to the ground. Come, fly with me. The end.